You heard of the black swan theory. For about 1,500 years, all swans were thought to be white. Until the 17th century, explorers discovered black swan in Australia, totally subverting our understanding of swan. The black swan theory was developed by Nassim Taleb. There's a lot that we can learn from it. One of them is that realizing after observing 1 million white swans for over 1,000 years, we still cannot conclude that all swans are white. But by just discovering one black swan, we can safely say that not all swans are white. This is the classical Via Negativa approach where we can use it to understand the nature of something by seeing what it is not and then being able to make better decisions. Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Ted from The Modern Reminder. Welcome to Beyond the Ticker Tape, where we dive deeper than market and price fluctuation with investment insight that lasts. Today we are going to talk about conducting investment research through Via Negativa approach. It may sound foreign to you, but we instinctively do that in our daily life, especially when it comes to meeting new people. How do we judge a character of a person? First, we scan for potential threats, red flags, deal breakers, before we proceed to have more interaction with them. But when it comes to things outside our ancestral domain, like conducting investment research, we somehow fail to implement this. How do we do our investment research? When we are exposed to certain investment idea, we look for the materials about that idea. But who wrote these ideas? Most of them are coming to two types of person. First is the people who have the incentive to sell you the idea. It can be the salespersons or analysts. I don't mean that they are lying to you, but incentive creates bias. You can experiment it yourself. Go to the research report library of any brokers and then you compare to the number of sell calls to the buy calls. I would say that the ratio is about 1 to every 20. Second is the people who are already invested in the idea. If a person is still invested in the idea, it means that he believes or still chooses to believe that it is wise to stay invested. There is nothing worse than two people with the same position talking to each other about that position, because what you did was to reinforce each other's belief about that idea. Now this is a typical availability bias. It means that whatever material available to you are already biased in the first place. What is going to happen is that when you start reading this material, you start to form this positive mental image about the idea. And we all know that first impression can be very powerful, and so it is very hard to convince you otherwise later. But just like the swan example, no matter how many positive points about the investment like celebrity manager, high growth, low debt, etc., they cannot guarantee that it is a good investment. But with just one or two red flags, you can safely conclude that this is not something I want to invest in. So do the opposite. First, identify what are the deal breakers for you, and then start your research by taking the opposite position. Talk to people who are against the idea, studying the sell call from the analyst. You get what I mean? It is going to save you a lot of time, because with limited knowledge, it is way easier for us to identify bad investment than the good one. The late Charlie Munger got it, as he said, invert, always invert. It means that we should give more weight to avoiding mistake than to seeking success. Because in investment, it is better to see opportunity go wasted than to make mistake that would blow you up. If everyone does this, I don't think we would have so many financial scams going around. Here's a recent case study. I missed the EV ride completely. So last year when a lot of EV stocks started to drop by a lot, BYD is back on my radar. BYD share price plunged about 50% from its peak, while it is still making record high sales. So I thought it was worth looking into. But here's the thing, I don't know anything about EV. Not their automation driving technology, not their battery technology. So if I were to understand them from scratch, it would have cost me a lot of time. And trust me, if you spend so much time about studying something, deep down, subconsciously, you want it to work so that the time spent studying it is not wasted. This is where the bias comes in. So I did the Via Negativa approach. Coincidentally, UOB Hong Kong issued a contrary sell call on BYD last November. I think they did a good job by pointing out that although BYD's wholesale shipment has been improving consistently every month, you cannot say the same thing about the vehicle insurance registration. Now, why is this important? You see, as a car seller, BYD can register it as sell as soon as it ships out the car to the dealers. But it is not telling you the whole picture. It doesn't tell you the real market demand of the car. If you want to look at the real market demand, you look at the insurance registration of the vehicle. Because if someone go and register the car for insurance, it signifies their intention to use the car. The discrepancy between the wholesale shipment and insurance registration was due to potential channel stuffing. What is that? It is the practice of supplying your dealers with more inventory than they can reasonably sell within a stipulated time. What is the point of doing that? Remember, as soon as the cars were shipped out to the dealers, it can be recognized as revenue in the financial statement. It is mentioned in the report that BYD is funding their dealers for holding excessive inventory. To me, this is already borderline unethical and it's already a deal breaker for me. You can see that BYD inventories are piling up. What is going to happen next? Unless the BYD dealers can sell way more vehicles than they did last year, which I doubt because of the price war that is going on now, we will see the BYD dealers slow down with their orders. And if BYD continue to fund the channel stuffing, we will see further deterioration in their cash flow. So by using this simple Via Negativa approach, I can conclude that I wouldn't invest in it right now. That's it for today's topic. So Via Negativa approach is a simple yet powerful approach because it is way easier for us to identify bad investments, bad ideas than perfect ones. It also encourages stepping back and avoiding decisions driven by emotion. Once you have honestly gone through the process, you wouldn't left with many options left. And then you can dedicate your time, attention, energy to those few options. If you have any questions, you can contact us through the link to the Google form below and my team will get back to you. If you like this video, do the usual, like, share, subscribe. Until next time.